talking about the movies for me and with my kids, oldest is 9, middle 8, daughter just turned 4. For me, it's scarier, and if you see a picture of something depicted than in the book. So like Dobby or Dobby, as you would say, is much creepier looking in the movie than you probably imagine him in the book.
Yeah.
And same with Gollum. Look at you.
Gollum.
It's Gollum.
It's Gollum.
See, this is doing it again. He says Gollum.
Yes, Gollum.
Gollum.
You're saying Gollum.
Hi, Instagram. Welcome to another episode of Is This for Kids? I am Jonathan Bearded Blevins.
I am Katie. Mrs. Ruby, why are we talking like this?
Trust. My preciouses. Remember, Lord of the Rings? Not bad, right? Not bad? Really bad? Or you're surprised that it was so good?
John's impression of Gollum is not for kids.
Gollum.
Terrifying.
Yeah, just like the movies are. Terrifying.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to talk about Lord of the Rings. All 3 movies, not The Hobbit.
No, just the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
And just the movies, not the books.
Correct. Which was just irony of ironies. John has been pushing to do Lord of the Rings since episode 1 when we filmed Barbie. Okay.
Yes.
He's been talking about it for months and months and months and months now. And then we get here today and we're like, we're going to give each movie its own episode. And John's like, you know what? We should just do one.
Well, only because you'll see there's no point in doing them separately.
That's true.
Maybe you could do the first one, Fellowship of the Ring, and then the Two Towers and Return of the Kings and as its own episode, kind of like we did in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But even then, especially when you're looking at the movies instead of the books, it's you might as well lump them all together.
Yeah. It is a little like Marvel, where it's sort of, you're just repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah, I gotcha.
We are mostly going to be talking here about the movies, though. Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King. Watching these, did you read the books first?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah, by like 10 years.
Not me. So, not at all. Yeah, we did the movies first. And so as I was reading, like everything was new to me in the books, which actually I kind of recommend. And here's why, and this is going to sound crazy. I actually and I love reading. I recommend the movies first because then you're not disappointed in what the movies leave out. So I watched all the movies when they in theaters and like loved it. This was like my childhood. This was like my emo phase. I was driving and listening to music, going to these movies like with my mom for one of them and by myself for another one. Like it was, I remember this. I remember it was winter, I think, when they were released.
Yep, December.
See, like it was just all the feels.
Movies,
it was just amazing. And I remember then reading the books a couple of years after I watched the movies, and I had all of the characters in my head already, that's usually my least favorite thing about watching the movie first, is I don't get to imagine what the characters look like. But they did such a good job that I loved it even more. But there's some key characters in the books they leave out. Tom Bombadil.
Tom
Bombadillo.
He's completely missing from the movies, and any lover of the books will be sad if you read the books first and you watch the hobbits go from, the Shire to Bree with no Tom Bombadil. You're like, oh no, what just happened? We just missed a whole thing. That was like 100 pages of the book that was left out.
And then you start to learn like the lore later on if you read a lot of the other stuff that Tolkien did, and you're like, man, Tom Bombadil is arguably the most powerful character in all of the entire world of Middle-earth.
Yeah. But since we're not talking about the books, we probably should stop nerding out about Tom Bombadil. But just one other book nerdery. If you are a book nerd and you've never seen these for whatever reason, they also do Boromir real dirty.
In the movie.
Yeah. He was a good man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boromir's pretty great. I'm reading number 1 right now with the kids again, so it's all coming back to me.
Yeah.
And we're still, Boromir's doing just fine right now.
Yep.
Still. So we'll have to see. But one thing about Tom Bombadil, one last thing, if you read the book, I mean, dude has clearly, the way it's depicted, a smoking hot wife. Like, it's a very weird part of the book because there's almost like zero love interest. There's a little bit here and there, obviously, with Aragorn and Arwen, but that's about it. And then all of a sudden, Tom Bombadil is just like, and there she is, by the creek, washing up. And I'm like, Tom,
stop.
Relax,
We're
buddy.
Blushing.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So the movies.
Yeah.
I'll share this story because I think I shared it in a different episode. Sometimes we record here and I forget what I shared off camera or if it was actually in an episode, and you're for some reason very good at remembering what it was.
Everything.
Maybe this was during our Harry Potter episode. It probably was. But talking about the movies for me and with my kids, oldest is 9, middle 8, daughter just turned 4. For me, it's scarier and if you see a picture of something depicted than in the book. So like Dobby or Dobby, as you would say, is much creepier looking in the movie than you probably imagine him in the book.
Yeah.
And same with Gollum. Look at you.
Gollum.
It's Gollum.
It's Gollum.
See, this is doing it again. He says Gollum.
Yes, Gollum.
Gollum.
You're saying Gollum.
Hi, Instagram. But anyway, I showed my kids the picture of Gollum, and oh my goodness, they were horrified. But in their head, they don't know what an orc is, and then they could see the movie and be very scary. But anyway, we'll just start real quick with Fellowship of the Ring. Thoughts?
Yeah. So of the 3 movies, Fellowship of the Ring is the most kid friendly. However, still a little on the scary side. So first of all, for the whole series, if you're unfamiliar with the basic story of it,
The lore.
Lord of the Rings is the story of Frodo Baggins as he takes a ring that has been in the possession of his uncle Bilbo for some odd number of years, and he finds that it is the one ring sent to control the entire world and all of the master rings that were, enslaving the world, and his job is to take it to Mount Doom to destroy it in the fires from whence it was forged. And because he is a hobbit, he is uniquely qualified to carry the ring because he's humble and he's unlikely to seek power. Hobbits are more interested in food and drink and song and merriment than they are in power, like men and dwarves and elves and things like that. So he's uniquely qualified, and the whole story is the group of people that are assigned to help Frodo get from the Shire to Mount Doom. That's the overarching thing. So in the very first episode, we see all of the fellowship together. The dwarf Gimli, who is there for him. He's got Legolas, who is an elf, and then he's got 2 men, Boromir and Aragorn, who are supposed to help him, and then also the wizard Gandalf, and then 3 of his hobbit buddies.
Merry, Pippin, and Samwise Gamgee.
Pippin and Samwise Gamgee, who is the true hero of Lord of the Rings.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're going to take this ring to Mount Doom, and in the first episode, the scary things are kind of limited a little bit. There are some things called ring wraiths, which are men, the kings, the men who had their rings of power back in the day, and they have just faded away into something very similar to a Dementor, basically, from Harry Potter. The hooves of their what are they called? Horses that they ride on. They have nails through them. They're creepy. They have creepy voices. Baggins. Like, it's just so
well
creepy.
done, yeah.
It's creepy and gross. And there's some, they get nature to behave strangely, so bugs come out around them, and they have scary looking decomposing faces.
Which can only be seen when he has the ring on.
You can only see it when he has the ring on. So it's only shown like once or twice. And then you've got orcs, which are scary. The Uruk-hai, which are goblins mixed with deceased elves. It's a gross thing. Just trust me, they're very gross looking.
Yeah.
Scary, big, growly, scary teeth. The more I think about this, the more I think you're right about it.
Thank you. And of course you got Sauron and Saruman. By the way, total mistake by Tolkien to name them similar.
Name them something so similar?
I'm obsessed, and I still don't know. And it's like for me with I don't know if you know this about me, backpack and bagpack. My whole life I called it the wrong thing, and every other week I get corrected.
Can I help you?
It's a bagpack because it's a bag that you pack, right?
It's a backpack.
It's a pack you wear on your back. Dang it.
Yeah, but Saruman is a man. He's a man. Saruman. He's a man.
And Sauron is a wizard.
Sauron.
No, so Sauron's the main bad guy, and Saruman is the white.
Saruman wizard. Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful. Yeah. I'm literally reading it right now, and I still can't get it right. So mistake.
Go.
There's probably a reason why he did that.
Probably because he's a man, but it's not spelled with an. It's not M-A-N.
No, I mean there's probably a reason why Tolkien did it.
Yeah, I'm sure, but I don't know what it is.
I don't either. But he's but Sauron is creepy. I mean, it is, for all intents and purposes, the devil.
Yeah, and he's also in the movies he's just depicted as an eye. So right. There is some scenes where they like flash back to him when he was still in a semi-human form, and but he mostly looks like a suit of armor. Like there's not really much to it, and he's absurdly large. So I don't think actually Sauron is all that scary. Saruman is not that scary either because he's meant to look like a kindly wizard. Like that's his whole thing. It's more the creatures that do it for me. So in the first episode, even though it is slightly less scary than the rest of them, I would say there are greater spaces between the scary things that show up. So there's more time to recover.
Yes.
But if your kid scares easily and is afraid of those kinds of visuals, I would leave off of this until 12. But if your kid is not easily scared, there is no drinking, no drugs, no sex.
Oh, there's drinking.
Oh, there's drinking. The hobbits drink. That's true. That's part of their...
Yeah. And the inn and...
Yeah.
Part of their charm.
There is drinking, but it's in like a very folksy kind of way.
It's not horrible.
It's not... They're not drunken or anything like that. And they're not misbehaving. So, you're right. There is drinking. But there's no drugs. There's no swearing. There's no sex. No nudity. None of those things. So there is a little bit of violence and in the first one and a lot of scary looking creatures. But I would say if your kid's not scared of scary looking things, 10 is fine.
For the first one. Yeah. So I'm with you. I'm going to say like 10, 11 for the first one. Mm-hmm. For me, like this is, I don't know why, but even more differently than Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. I want to watch these three with my kids back to back to back in a, not even like day after day after day. I want that 24-hour. We're watching it all. When my kids are ready for this, we're watching all of them all the way through.
Extended cut, 18 hours.
Yes, I can't wait. And we're going to go crazy.
Wow.
So I'm thinking for me, I'm like, okay, when can I do that? I probably want the middle one involved. Kiara, I'll do that with her later. So I'm thinking like 12 for him. Mm-hmm. So I'm with you. I think 10 or 11 for the first one.
Yeah.
If you're okay waiting for the other two, which we'll talk about. Again, yeah, the orcs are creepy looking.
They are scary.
And Golem is really, honestly, like he was who I was most scared of when I watched it. And I watched it in high school. Like Golem's creepy.
Golem's not present in the first episode.
In the first movie. Yes, he is.
In the first movie. Mm-mm. Just like they show his back while he's going down a mountain.
Yeah.
And they show his hand while he's being tortured.
Yes.
But, like the
and
face,
his eyes.
the scary part is not there.
And his eyes, right?
In
At
the
least
darkness.
In the darkness.
Yeah, so you don't see his face. Like
the Bridge of Khazad-hûm! Run, you fools! I'm sorry. I love it.
What do you believe that line is?
He says, run, you fools.
Fly, you
Fly,
fools.
darn it! Fly, you fools. Mm-hmm. I spoiler alerted my kids.
I am such a monster. Like I'm always correcting you on the stupidest things.
I don't care.
Oh, I feel bad
if it
about
mattered, I would care.
Like high school me would constantly do that, and then like now that I'm old, I recognize when I do that. I'm like, yeah, you know it all. Shut up.
Oh yeah, I don't even make fun of you for it because I'm just like, oh, it's fine. It's just who she is.
Oh, it is who I am. And
I'm very accepting.
I don't love it about myself.
But yeah, so I'm gonna go with you. 10 or 11 for the first one.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Two Towers and Return of the King. So
Yes.
the biggest difference in the plots there, it's the same. You described like the overarching plot
Same
of
plot,
all of
just
them.
moving it forward.
Yeah, it's moving forward. So as they go, the Two Towers is super fun because there's just lots of battles.
Lots of battles.
Including like a really big battle. And we're talking like thousands of people fighting orcs, you know, men helping dwarves, helping elves. There's a lot of moments of peril and running. Golem is
there.
oh my gosh.
Invested?
Introduced. No, stop it. Thank you. Introduced.
There you go.
And he's a creepy character. Like his impressions are really creepy. Like when he's like his like convulsions and the things that he does and the way he wants the ring. He's also really funny, by the way. Like when he's just like singing
he argues with himself.
Yes, and he's singing his songs, and I love his character actually, especially as I get older.
Andy Serkis did a great job.
Yeah, but I was horrified when I was in high school watching him. Like I was horrified of him. Seriously.
In high school?
Yes, like I lost sleep over Golem. I'm serious.
Ugh.
What?
Ugh.
When I go to hotel rooms, I still sleep with the light on most of the time.
Okay.
Okay, so
well, that's just because we don't know where the bathroom
now you
is.
know me. All right, I don't go to the bathroom at night. I'm an adult. I hold my potty.
Can I get all the moms in the chat to just kill him, just roast him on the
You know
internet?
what I mean?
Oh
when we are on road trips,
gosh.
I'm like, Jody, diaper, we're not stopping. You know?
Jody,
I'm kidding.
if you fear for your safety,
I'm kidding. I would never do that.
oh my gosh.
I would never do that.
Anyway,
But Golem, he's a scary character.
I don't
but
think he's scary.
Here's the thing for me: the violence really, really amps up in the second and third one. We're talking like Legolas arrows through the eyes. Orcs are beheaded, like heads are used as weapons and lit on fire and thrown. There's all kinds of there's poison. Golem bites a finger off. Like it gets way more intense in the second and third one than the first one.
yeah, I would point out that the violence in the second one is pretty bloodless, if that matters to you. Like when the head gets chopped off, it's somehow a bloodless beheading. There's no blood. The head just rolls off.
There is like muddy blood. It's like orc blood.
Yeah,
but it's not a main part.
It's
You're
nothing
right.
that you wouldn't notice it. And
it's not like splashing on the screen.
Right, and there's just not visible blood that your kids would recognize as such. But obviously, they're fighting them. People are falling. Like a lot of the scenes of giant battles, they're kind of shown from a distance, so you see lots of people fighting. But you do see some up close every now and then. So there is a little bit of that. I'm going to disagree with you about Gollum. I don't think Gollum is scary, and I think most kids, after the initial shock of seeing him, will think he's cute. They'll think he's cute. Oh,
yeah, it's cute when he bites a raw fish.
It is cute. He's like, I like him raw and wriggling. He's so cute. That was creepy, wasn't it?
Yes, it was creepy. And yeah, you just proved my point.
This
is great.
He's cute.
He's creepy.
I think
he's creepy and cute.
He's meant to be
like my wife.
He's meant to be a good Jody.
Kidding.
I just think that Gollum is cute and kids will like him if they're not scared of his initial thing. But it's a very good time to be like, it's just because he's a little scary looking doesn't mean you have to hate him. And Tolkien himself talked a lot about Gollum being this potential for redemption. It's all of us, these things that we all could have fallen into, and we're all Gollum, and it's just a question of whether or not we succeed in overcoming our demons.
That's great.
So I love that, and I love Gollum, but I agree with you. It does get a lot scarier in the second one, and the violence is a lot more pronounced. And in the second one is the only time where you will find two female characters who speak to one another. There is no other point in the movie in which two female characters interact with one another.
Galadriel and Arwen?
No, they never speak to each other.
Hold on. This is fun. I want to know what the two characters are that speak to each other.
I'll never guess.
I won't?
Nope.
Why?
Go for it.
Those are the only two female characters I even have their names memorized.
Mm-hmm. It's the little girl who runs away from the village, looks at Éowyn and says, "Where's mommy?" And that's it. At no other point do two female characters ever interact. In fact, there are no two female characters who are ever in the same scene together. So that's a little bit rough on the ladies.
Interesting.
Yeah, you got Éowyn, you got Arwen in the first movie. She's not really present in the second movie other than in like dream sequences. Éowyn never speaks to her. Galadriel never.
You know what we should do? We should do the Is This for Kids for the Lord of the Rings show. Because they sure changed that.
We could definitely get Caitlin to come to it.
That would be a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed the show. But so
episode 3. Well, it's not what it's called. Return of the King.
Yeah. Well, same thing for me for Return of the King. It's that, and the second one and the third one are the same amount of violent, pretty much. Again, I was a little sheltered, but not a ton. Like I wasn't watching Gladiator, right? It came out, I think, when I was in high school, and I wasn't allowed to watch it until I was like 17 or 18. But like,
Gladiator came out in 1999. I saw it in the theater.
Great. So yeah, it was probably like 04, 05 when I saw it. So senior in high school. But like you think of movies like that, right? That I didn't really watch, where there's a lot of violence and blood. Lord of the Rings was probably the first movie I ever saw where there was like a massive amount, like the whole point of it was violence. Like it was wars and battles, and it was really intense. And so I don't know. I can't think of any other one I would have seen.
See, I would argue with you that it's not about the violence. Even in the violent scenes, you have the friendship of Gimli and Legolas, and they're like building a friendship between two races who hate each other, having a fight over how many orcs they can kill. So to me, it's not about violence for violence sake.
No, for sure. But it was to the point of my life. It was the most violent thing I had seen.
Okay, sure, maybe that. I would say the Return of the King was a little bit more traumatic for me from a psychological standpoint, because watching the Steward of Gondor try to kill his own son was kind of a lot.
Yeah.
Didn't love that. And then also, if your kids are okay with stuff, just know that there's an interesting monster. The Shelob, however you say that, the spider. Is present in the third movie. She's a giant spider, and she wraps up Frodo, and he looks dead. And one of my greatest fears is dead bodies, so that's one of the scariest things for me.
Interesting. See, it's not the scary part for me. There's the spider.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hate spiders.
Yeah, the dead bodies in the dead marshes in the second movie, and then also in the third movie with I don't like it.
That's creepy.
So I would say the later movies. What do you think?
So I had said, I think 13 years old to watch all three at once and make a huge moment of it makes the most sense to me. I could see if a 12-year-old is mature and is not scared easily and is not going to be horrified by the violence, I could see like 12 or 13 for Lord of the Rings.
I agree 100%. And we don't have very similar parenting at all.
We finally agree on something.
Hey, 12,
That's great.
13-ish.
So what I need you to agree with me on then is that to save the Fellowship of the Ring for that age as well, for the sake of bonding and watching them all together.
I think you're going to lose a 12-year-old trying to make him watch 18 hours of the movies.
No way. Not if I hype them up like I do the Lions. It's worked so far in my life.
Lions games last 4 hours max.
Yeah, that's a movie.
Okay, you're talking about doing 3 in a row.
Yeah, I know. My kids will watch 3 Lions games in a row 100%.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, so we're good. So
I mean, that's completely
my kids are
theoretical.
wildly influenced by me. It's very scary. Like Jody is concerned. Like if I sit down with my kids and I'm like, hey, we're gonna watch soccer, 98 minutes straight of soccer, and like they don't really know what's going on, they'll be asking me questions the entire time. They're all in. If Daddy wants to talk about it, yeah.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Isn't that great?
That is great.
What a blessing.
Hey, if people wanted more content, where would they find more content?
They should go to Instagram.com/beardedblevins. Oh, you mean content for Is This For Kids?
Wow.
Sorry for the self-promo. They should go to
Self-promotion.
isthisforkids.com to see everything we're doing. But then there's even more content, bonus things on Patreon at patreon.com/Is This For Kids.
That's right. Hey, there's just so much content out there for us to navigate as parents.
I'm Jonathan Bearded Blevins.
I'm Katie, Mrs. Ruby. Let us help you decide.
Is This For Kids?